Hello, it's November 8th, 2024. Tony Paget here with another update on my journey, which started out getting rid of floaters, but now is in my next chapter of getting rid of glare and starburst that I see at night whenever I look at traffic lights, headlights, taillights, LEDs on my desk, street lights on the poles, can lights in the ceiling in my living room, and even the white color, really bright white colors on my TV, like the Apple logo, will get really a lot of glare off of it while I'm watching TV, or even the little play button on the TV, or some types of bright white in a window on a scene. I see glare. It all began after cataract surgery, which I needed after getting the vitrectomy to remove the floaters in both eyes. So when you get a vitrectomy, that will automatically cause, in most cases, cataracts in your eyes a year or two or three later, and that's happened to me. I went with what's called the light adjustable lenses, or LALs, and they sounded great because the doctor can adjust the prescription in your eyes and kind of fine tune it up to 3 times. And that part was good. I now have like mini monovision. My right eye is set for distance. My left eye is set for a little bit near, so I can read things. My phone, my computer screen, a little bit of distance is pretty good. Up close, I still need to use glasses, like if I'm clipping my fingernails or something like that, or reading really small print. But other than that, it's all fantastic. So I've talked about this surgery and the LALs, the light adjustable lenses, in another video, and I'll link it below and maybe somehow in the video here. But today we're focusing on the glare and the starburst that I'm having now after having locked in the light adjustable lens. It's been, well, a good year. I'm looking at it now. It's November, and it's a good year almost since I had a cataract surgery. I think I've locked in the lenses about 8 months ago. And after talking to Dr. Ramsey about what to do with this, and also, I'm taking some medication at night to drops in my eyes to help with it temporarily. Dr. Ramsey said there's not much she can do or anything else she can do because she doesn't have the expertise or the equipment to what she would recommend is, well, she didn't recommend it, is a lens exchange. She said that's probably the only other thing you could try out. She doesn't recommend it, but if you want to do it, I know doctors will do it. Great. I want to talk about this. Check this out. She led me to a Dr. Pedalin, and luckily he's only a 45-minute drive away. Apparently there's not a lot of doctors or surgeons that do this replacement surgery because it is a bit riskier than your normal cataract surgery with normal lenses. For one, the removing the lens is not that easy. Usually the scar starts to scar around the capsule, and that starts to the capsule that holds the lens in, the artificial lens in place, starts to scar, and they need to cut that out very, very gently. And plus, I have YAG laser on the back of my capsule. I guess that's the posterior of the capsule, which created a hole. So the integrity of the capsule is a little bit weaker than what it was before, and thus needs special care when you're taking out a lens and or putting one back in. So about 2 weeks ago, I saw Dr. Petlin. After running a bunch of tests, he gave me some good news saying that he was willing to do it and he thinks he can help. The not so good news is there's no guarantee. And the reason behind that is no one for sure can tell you exactly, no doctor can tell you exactly why I'm seeing starburst or why I'm seeing the glare around light. It's impossible to know. They can only guess of what's causing it. It could be my cornea, it could be the lens itself, it could be both of those interacting. He doesn't really know. But he did say to me that every time he's done a lens exchange, it's always improved things. I did ask him if you've ever done an LAL exchange, and I believe he said no, but he was pretty confident that it should work, but no guarantees. Dr. Pentland is suggesting only doing the right eye first because he feels that usually when these kind of distortions or the glare and starburst happens with other patients, not for LALs, so maybe they had a multifocal lens. He feels that usually doing one overcompensates or compensates for the other one, and that blended vision, maybe it won't cause so much of a problem and my brain will get used to it. So that's fine. I'll do one. I don't want to do both at the same time, of course. That'd be really, really silly. So we'll try one out. I'm sure if I go back to him and ask him, hey, this is all fantastic, still seeing glare out of my left, it's bothering me, let's change that, I think he'd do it. So in case you're interested, the lens he's going to use is an LI61AO, made by Post-operative. Don't know. Don't know why they don't have just a normal name for that. But anyway, and I looked it up online and found some interesting comparisons to the light adjustable lenses. And I put this into AI, and here's what it said. I'll just read it to you, kind of verbatim, and why it might help. So the material and design, this lens that he's going to implant is silicone, while the LAL is acrylic. So sometimes change in lens material can reduce internal reflections that causes these visual issues. This lens also has a rounded edge design that's less likely to cause the internal reflections that create bright arcs or shadows. LALs, with their sharp edges, tend to create more visual disturbances. This is from AI, so take it with a grain of salt. The third point is this is an aberration-free optic, and I'll just read it here. Aberration-free means that it prevents visual distortions by keeping the lens shape very uniform. This shape should help focus light more clearly and reduce halos or starbursts. And last but not least, number 4, the aspheric design for better night vision. This lens has an aspheric design. I'll write that down, these things down in the bottom here if you want to look them up. That mimics the natural shape of the eye lens, especially for night vision, reducing the intensity of starburst or glare. So hopefully all that will help. Let's see. I'm hopeful, or cautiously hopeful, this will work. He doesn't, but you know, it couldn't. But I want to give it a try. Now for the downsides. The surgery isn't covered by insurance. It's considered not medically necessary because I can see visually. There are some glows and starbursts, but I can function. So it's out of pocket for me. And the total cost with the surgery, the lens, the facilities, some drops I have to use, etc., $7,000 roughly. It's a little bit over that. Not great, but luckily I've saved up enough money to be able to do this. I feel that when you have starbursts and things of this nature, you should be able to, it should be covered because it is a quality of life issue. But the insurers and the powers to be at the insurance companies feels like it's not medically necessary. Probably a way for them to save some money. I disagree, but oh well. So bottom line is there's no guarantee on this surgery, but I want to give it a try. Well, and I know it's an expensive try. I know it's a bit of a risky try, but my concern is I'll always wonder if this is an issue that it could have been resolved. I've got a lot of life to live, I hope, so might as well do it now. And especially if I wait to do it a year or 2 or 3 years later, the scarring will become more and more around the lens, I think. It'll make it harder to get the lens out. So I think the time is now to do it. My surgery is scheduled for Tuesday of next week. Nothing special mentioned there. I go in the morning, go to a post-op at another office, and some follow-ups, but I'll keep you informed as soon as I have something to report back on the good or the bad of this procedure. I'll definitely let you know. That'll be coming up in the next video. Thank you. Wish me luck. Talk to you then. Hi, it's November 12th, 2024 with an update on my IOL exchange. And I just finished surgery about 4 hours ago. and I thought I just want to give you my first initial impressions. Now, the reason why I'm wearing these sunglasses is because I'll do this just briefly. My right eye is numb, and I don't think you want to be looking at that. It just looks a little bit weird, right? I don't need to wear these sunglasses. That's what they gave me for when I was walking outside, but I thought I'd spare you the kind of like what's going on with his eye. Well, it's numb and it just looks weird, and I thought I'd just cover it up for today. In fact, I mean, my forehead's numb too. Whatever they give you a shot, wherever they put it at, I mean, it just numbs everything part of here. Luckily, my mouth is still working, my left eye is still working, and it's just numb. And because it's numb, I can't force my eye open. So apparently, this is going to wear off in a couple hours or 3, and should be okay by tonight. And in fact, I didn't even know they were going to make my eye numb. I thought it was going to be like another cataract surgery. But since this is a lot more involved, where he's removing the lens, probably there's just a lot more involved. So because of that, they numb the eyeball and everything around it. And in fact, after I checked in and I went back to the like pre-op, I guess, room, lay down in the bed, the anesthesiologist came in and said, "Okay, I'll be putting you to sleep in a moment." I was putting me to sleep. What's going on? Yeah, it's because I got to numb your eye, and the numbing my eye, I guess, could be a bit painful. So okay, fine with me. But the nurse said I'd be awake in that twilight zone during the actual surgery itself. So I went to sleep. Next thing I knew, my eyes were closed, or at least my left eye was patched fully. I couldn't see out of it, completely white, and I assumed my right eye was open. I couldn't see anything, and that was pure white as well. And the doctor, I could hear the doctor come in. "Hi, Dr. Petlin here. Great, good." Asked him a few questions about the Imani procedure. He said only if necessary, and at the end, he said he didn't have to do it. Because the capsule had enough integrity, I guess, to ensure that the lens wouldn't go out of place. But he did tell me at the end that he took the haptics and put it in the sclera, the whites of the eyes, rather than, if you do, what I understand is, ask your doctor. Normally, the optic goes into the sac and the haptics go out, and I kind of grab to the edge of the sac. But this one he actually implanted into the sclera to give it more stability. Anyway, I couldn't see anything. I could hear things. I could see shadows. I could kind of guess what was happening when they were taking the lens out, when they put the new lens in, and then they actually did a vitrectomy on me, which I found weird too, because I didn't know vitrectomy was part of this. But apparently, when you do a lens exchange, even though if you had a vitrectomy before, they still do one. So as I said, I couldn't see anything other than a bit of shadows, and because my eye is numb, you can't see, it's all white. And then he said it was finished. They wrapped up stuff. I think they put some more liquid in my eye just to clean it up and all the rest. And wheeled me into the post-op room, got my instructions on what not to do. Don't get water in your eye. You can bathe tomorrow, shower tomorrow. Can't do this, can't do this. This typical stuff that they have to do and make sure I'm not too groggy. And they walked me out to the car, and I went off to my post-op meeting with another doctor in a different office, completely different office that's closer to my home. So I went to this other doctor in Chandler. They asked me to read off a chart. I said, "Well, my eyes closed, but I'll read off my left eye." Don't know why they needed to do that. Part of the procedure. Okay. Went into another room. Doctor came in. I was finally asked her about, how the lens was put into the anterior part of the chamber. It's not actually on the outside of the chamber. It's on the anterior part, and the haptics in the sclera or the sulcus. She actually had an eye model who could show me that. Fantastic, great. And then she looked into my eye, couldn't see anything unusual, and then said, "Okay, here's what you're going to have, maybe some flashes of light, blurriness and stuff, but things should start to heal tonight. You should be able to see tomorrow." Okay, great. So, and it was very, very quick, and that was it. That's about it. And I will close here. And in the next couple of days, once I can start to see, I'll let you know if there's been any positive results at all. Fingers crossed. Bye. Hi, it's November 15th, 2024, with an update on the surgery to replace my lens, the light adjustable lens. Well, I had this surgery on about 4 days ago. Today's Friday, it was Tuesday. And it all went well, as to be expected. Some things that I didn't expect, but I think the doctor did expect. So this surgery is definitely a lot more involved, and there's a lot more roughness, so to speak, compared to, say, your typical cataract surgery, because the guy is removing the lens out, and he's putting a new one in, and he's also did a vitrectomy, which I'll talk about later, with a lot more stuff going on in this surgery. So I think the overall operation took about 20 to 30 minutes, but again, I was kind of out of it, so could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. So went home that day, patch over my eye, immediately went to a post-op visit with another doctor. They took the patch off, took a look at the eye, looked like everything was fine. Went home, left the patch off, and this time, because of the numbness of my eye, I guess, I was seeing double vision in my one eye. I'll put some photos up here. My one eye was looking down, and the other eye's looking straight. I mean, I had double vision, so it was quite difficult to kind of concentrate or see anything. But it was really odd that my eye would be focusing in one direction and is highly dilated, so much dilated. Like you just see a black pupil, again, showing some photos here. And it's just and a lot of going. I'm sorry if that's disturbing to you, but I want to make sure you're prepared for this if this is what you're going through. So that night I played pirate. I found a little eye patch that went over my eye, so I can just watch TV and everything else. My left eye perfectly fine, and I had to put my glasses on because my left eye is set for near. So I put the patch on, put the glasses on, and watch TV and just let the night progress. Looked outside. Everything was so blurry. I said, no sense in trying to see if I see starburst or any type of glare. The next day I woke up, the anesthesia had worn off, and the numbness has mostly gone away. My vision went back to normal as far as double vision went away. Still blurriness, yeah, still reddy, quite red. My eyes didn't feel dry. They felt actually like they were leaking more water, I guess, for lack of a better term. And it was things were quite blurry in the morning, very itchy, scratchy. Felt like, again, a lot more going on there than last time. Very scratchy. Could close my eye, but didn't feel like it was closing it fully. I think my bottom eyelid was drooping a bit because the eye probably had swollen up a bit, inflammation setting in. I also noticed that I had some glass bubbles, 2 glass bubbles down at the bottom of my eye, which is probably at the top. Just like when I had a vitrectomy before, those went away about a day later. Same with the redness, day by day got better. You probably can see I still have some redness in my eye. Vision's pretty clear now, so day by day it gets better and better. The other thing I noticed when I can start to see the day after surgery, a lot more floaters, not your big floaters like I used to have, but the specks. That one speck that I talked about before that was there's more than one speck now, and little teeny ones going through my eye. Sometimes I think they're fixed in my eye. I go, oh my goodness, is this part of the lens? But after a while, they move very slowly. So expect floaters right after surgery. And just like I had before, since I don't have any vitreous or the sac in there, hopefully those will kind of wash out or get absorbed in the eye. Eventually, I think that takes about a week from my prior experience. So what about the glare and the starburst? Well, I've got some really good news. It's not perfectly good news, but it's really good news. So the first night, not the night of the surgery, the next day, that night, I went out, looked around, and comparing to my left eye that didn't have the lens exchange yet, has the old LAL in there, new lens, way less starburst. Still having some, And last night I tried again and looked at. Basically, it's before on this left eye, it's just like a star. I mean, several, maybe 5, 6 spikes coming off of lights outside. This time I see kind of a dull 2 spike, and it's kind of at an angle like this. Yeah. I'm hoping, I'm praying that it's the inflammation, and as time progresses, that goes away, and I would call this absolutely 100% success. Right now, I'm calling it a 90% success, because if that's all I have is that kind of dim 2 spikes compared to like 6, 7, 8 spikes coming off, very distinct. Way better, way better. So that's good. And number 2, as far as glare, like I could see at can lights and stuff, glare coming off the lights, like kind of a halo. I don't notice it. I can see it if I really pay attention to it. Maybe when I had normal vision, I had this and just didn't notice it. It's just like a little foggy around the light. And I'm hoping that's the inflammation that's causing that kind of glarish, small, very. You have to pay attention to it. I'm being very picky here, but that's gone. If I compare with my left eye and look up at the can lights and some lights inside, yeah, I can see glare. I can see glare and a bit of streaks, not distinct spikes, but like fatter, like an X, a big X coming off the lights, can lights. But my right eye doesn't have that at all. TV, looking at it with the whiteness, yeah, I'm covering, everything's fine. Right eye, white objects on the screen, the Apple logo, yeah, glare around it. So definitely big improvement compared to what's in my light adjustable lens. The surprising thing that I got a call from the day after surgery that the doctor wanted to see me. I said, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Apparently he wants to see people with this type of surgery. And that was great, loved it. Went in, he looked in, he goes, everything looks fine. And I finally got him to explain to me how the lens was implanted and put in place. And he even got him to draw it this time. Very busy guy. He's a man of few words. That's great. He's really good at this stuff. Don't want to bother him, but he did say, let me just show you. So I'll put it up on the screen. It is a drawing with some of my call outs there on what's going on. But it's basically he's implanted, he keeps calling it the anterior chamber of the sac, the capsule. I don't think it, I'm not a doctor. He's not in the anterior, if it's the anterior chamber, it'd be in front of, or the iris. This lens is definitely in the sac. It's called in the bag procedure. And it's in the anterior of the capsule. The haptics, or the arms, actually penetrate the bag, and he put the haptics into the sulcus. He did not have to suture him. He didn't have to do the Yamane or the Yamani technique, but everything's set in place to the point he says it's like a trampoline. The haptics are into the sulcus. They are pushing up. The lens is captured against the, I guess, the sac, which has a hole that was created from the previous cataract surgery, and it's pushing up. So it's really in there in a very good, secure way. Going to be very hard for it to move around, even though the capsule has a yag done on the back, and you have a hole in the front from the cataract surgery. So that's a very interesting procedure, and finally got him to write it down or draw it, and now I understand. I don't know why it says anterior chamber. I'm not going to ask him. Again, he's a very busy guy, but he drew it. I'm happy with that. I do want to still find out what vitrectomy is all about, but that's the procedure. Looks great. Everything he said looks great. So I go back in about 2 weeks' time to see him. And I will have probably another update in about a week's time just to let you know how things are progressing. If this little bit of dull starburst goes away or not. And if this still happens, if that's the worst that it is, I'm definitely going to ask him about doing my left eye. The only trick is can he or will he be able to mimic or copy the prescription of my near LAL set for near? I like how I have this mini monovision going, and I can see far, a little bit blurry-ish, put glasses on when I'm driving, but I can function without them, walking around the office, etc., walking around home. I can look at my phone, I can look at the computer. I'd like to keep that prescription. I hope that's possible. Let's see. And let's see if this continues to go well. Again, if it stays steady, I'm really happy. So that's it for now. Back later with in about a week's time with my next update. Hi, it's November 27th. And this is Tony again with a quick update on how my lens replacement is going. Just got back from the doctor. This will be a short update. Bottom line is everything in the eye itself is looking good. He's happy with it. It's not out of line. It's just where it needs to be. The one small challenge of the spikes, it's basically at a 1 o'clock and a 7 o'clock degree that I talked about when I could see at night. I mentioned that to him. And also recently, I'd say within the last week, my distance vision, a very distant vision, is a bit blurry. Kind of, if I was outside, it's better, but in darker sides, it's a little bit, it's not as good as it used to be with my light adjustable lens. And so I talked about that with the doctor. He said I have some astigmatism in my right eye. It's negative 0.75, and he feels that with LASIK, he should be able to correct for that, and hopefully those spikes will go away, and it'll clear up some of that blurriness. So fingers crossed. He didn't want to do anything today, just a checkup, and he said to come back over after the holidays, about a month later. This is getting up to Thanksgiving here. So I've made another appointment for January 8th to see him and talk about next steps on that LASIK. Plus, if I could do my left eye. He kind of grinned a bit like, oh, really? Interesting, you want to do it. He said a lot of people wouldn't do even the right eye, but luckily he did. He said, let's talk about it. He thinks that the right eye will compensate. Maybe I mentioned this in a previous video for the left eye, but that's not the case. I'm walking outside, spikes coming off, left eye, 5, 6, 7, 8 spikes, etc. Walking down the street, both eyes open. Yeah, I can see. Okay, it's definitely something that I could work with. But again, let's see in about a month's time and see if this ends up helping me overall, or if I should go ahead and get the lens replaced. One other quick update: floaters, they're basically gone. I see a little bubble or a little thing once in a blue moon, but I have to really think about it. Floaters last week were terrible. Thought they were never going to go away, but after 2 weeks now, completely gone. So that's the update for now. Come back to you after my next meeting with the doctor in January, see how this all settles down. Most likely we'll get LASIK in my right eye to help correct the astigmatism. Hopefully it's not the inflammation, it's the astigmatism most likely causing those spikes. And then the big decision on should I do the left eye. That's all I got for now. Bye. Hi, it's January 12th, 2025 with another update about my lens exchange. So I had my next visit with Dr. Petlin a few days ago and gave him the update that nothing's really changed since the last visit, namely that my right eye is still showing those 2 spikes in a certain angle, but a lot better than before with my LAL. I'm also getting a little bit more small spikes around it, but it's neither here nor there. And also my distance vision is not very clear. It's a bit blurry, especially in low light situations. Left eye, no change at all, still glare, still tons of starbursts at night, etc., etc. So I was hoping he was going to say, okay, let's do LASIK on the right eye and clear that up so I can have clear vision in the right. But he said, let's wait till March or April and then we'll discuss it then. And I was a little confused on that. Maybe he still wants to see if it settles down before he does any type of LASIK. He did say that Let's move forward with the left eye, the exchange, and that surgery will happen this Friday. So looking really forward to that, so that I think even if I have come up with the left eye with those two spikes from the astigmatism, um, the same I'm doing the right eye. If that happens to the left eye, I'll take it. It'll be way better for the glare because I'm still seeing if I'm watching TV or some type of white or can lights or whatever. The left eye is the first one that starts to make that glare, and it's really really distracting in my living room, um, at a restaurant, where have you. So I'll take that. As far as let's just move forward with the left, and we'll do the LASIK later. Another thing that he said also that he's been in contact with RX Insight, the makers of the light adjustable lens, and letting him know my case study, and maybe I should reach out to them as well, which I most likely will do. He mentioned, who knows, there's still fairly new technologies when you start to lock these in. I forget what the name he called them, but it's the material or whatever makes up the lenses, and the way water and light reflects off them in the wrong way, you happen to get this issue. Um, that could be the cause of it. Nobody knows still. All I know is that I'm getting better results with this monofocal lens, and I'm glad he's putting in a lens that'll give me near distance so I can still see my phone. Now, I did mention that to him. I said, I'm really glad you're doing that. And he said, that's why I'm a little hesitant to switch out the left, because even though I can give you the same prescription as you have now, the location of where your lens is going to be end up in your eye could be slightly different, and that could change your vision. He said, if that happens, we can adjust that with LASIK. I said, fine, let's move ahead. I'd rather take that risk over having this glare and multiple starbursts. So let me come back to you in about 2 weeks' time. Let the the eye operate on, get settled so I can really see what's happening. Hopefully I'll have just as good results as with my right eye. Fingers crossed. Hi, it's January 20th, 2025, with a quick update on how things are progressing with the lens exchange, this time in my left eye. Now, I was going to wait until everything healed up and just kind of give you a brief report, but there's a few things that happened along the way that I think will be important for you to know just in case this happens. So, I had my surgery about 3 days ago on the left eye. He put the exact same lens in that he did for the right eye, but this one is with a power of negative 1.00. And that's because I want to try to get that mid-range vision with my left eye like I have with my light adjustable lens. The surgery prep was the same as I did for the right eye, but this time I could see a bit more, a little bit, the left one. After the surgery, he told me that when he sat down to start the surgery, my eye was a bit cloudy. The cornea was a bit cloudy, and he wouldn't be able to see inside the eye. So he had to take off the outer layer of the cornea, which is called the epithelium, which apparently, like if you scratch your eye or something, it grows back. So he had to do that so he can clear things away so he can see in. That meant after the surgery was done, he put this what's called a bandage cataract, a bandage contact over my eye to help heal it. And from what I'm reading, the epithelium should heal within 24, 48 hours. I had it on for a good 3 days. Now, I was thinking, well, let me just back up. During the whole weekend, this left eye, unlike my right eye, I couldn't see hardly anything out of it. Everything was really, really blurry. I thought it was because of the bandage contact lens. Now that he's removed the contact lens, um, things are still blurry, like waxy. Now, he did say that it's going to take 3 or 4 more days longer for this eye to heal than the right one to heal. So I'm hoping this is part of that equation, part of that formula that he told me that it take 3 or 4 more days. Now, um, I don't know what's causing the blurriness. Again, was the eye healing? Is it because of the epithelium that he took off is still healing? Could be a combination of things. I'm just going to have to trust what he's doing. He took the lens off, so I assume that the epithelium had healed properly. Maybe it takes a few more days for that to heal as well. and or it could still be a lot of inflammation in my eyes. You can see my eye is still reddish, got a bit of a bruise here. It was a rougher surgery than a right eye, even though I thought the right eye was kind of rough anyway as well. So let's see. I don't know what's causing the blurriness, but let's wait 3 or 4 days to see how things heal up. So that's all I got for today. And hopefully the next video I have, I'll be seeing clearly in this left eye. Bye. Hi, it's March 3rd, 2025 with another update regarding my lens replacement. Overall, things are going very, very well for both eyes, especially all that blurriness I had in my left eye that I had concerns with, which is what, about a month and a half ago, seems to have pretty much cleared up. I have a few things to talk about, and I'll go into that in detail, but overall, things are going quite well. So I had a follow-up on February 3rd, about a month ago, 2 weeks after that last video, with my doctor. Overall, the health of the eye, everything, healing, everything's going in the right direction, but he said it still needs time. He said it could take several more weeks for the cornea to smooth out, since he did, remember, shave off some of the epithelium for the surgery in my left eye. And sure enough, he was right. That haziness did eventually go away. I think probably about 2-3 weeks later, where I didn't notice it hardly anymore. The astigmatism in my left eye at that time was negative 1.0. Okay, so maybe that's going to change when I go in to see him in a couple weeks. And I also noticed that the astigmatism in my right eye had decreased. I forgot the amount, the number, but it had gone down by about a quarter, I think. So it does take some time with this type of lens replacement. The key is patience. Compared to a cataract surgery and a normal, your normal cataract surgery where you just get the lens down, put it back in, new ones in, that's going to take, this one takes a lot more time to heal because it's a lot more involved, a lot more of a technique, and it's a lot more rigorous than a typical cataract surgery. So he said, come back in about 6 weeks' time. He wants to make sure that my lens, my eyes have stabilized. He was right. Things have stabilized. For indoors, the glare around the can lights or anything like that, gone. I mean, if I really look at it or look at a light a little bit, maybe I see a little fuzz around certain lights at nighttime, but overall, no. I'm pretty good shape. And when watching TV, like the Apple white logo or some really large white letters, black background come on, I do see a little bit of haze around that, but not as bad as it used to be. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's way better unless I'm thinking about it. Hey, let me test this out. I usually don't notice it. The subtitles, Claire's gone for the most part. I don't even think I think it's gone. I haven't really noticed it. So overall, I'm happy. I can now enjoy my 4K TV and the 4K streaming and all that kind of good stuff. Yay for me. And not sitting there kind of trying to see the best way to adjust the brightness and the color and the white point of the Apple TV so it's not glaring in my eyes as bad as it used to be. Now, outdoors, great story here as well. Barely notice any starburst. Remember, my right eye has those 2 streaks from the astigmatism. Those have faded a bit, and they're kind of off and on depending on what's going on. And so it's definitely fading away. It's not as noticeable. It's there, but it's better. The left eye, not much of a problem. All I can say is there's little stop lights, signal lights, street lights, stuff still have a bit of a haze, fuzz around it. More outdoors than I was talking about indoors, if I really notice it, but I'm functional outside and I'm not noticing it. It's not as irritating as it used to be. The left eye, no starburst, nothing. The best I can say, I think in both eyes, is when I see bright lights, and maybe this happened before with my natural eyes, and I'm just overthinking it, but bright light, headlights off a car, or any kind of really bright light, like a bright street light, It looks like one of those, when birthday cake, you get those sparklers, little sparklers on top. I see little sparklers, and I guess those are technically starbursts, but they're not like streaking out, you know, feet, 10 feet away from the source, around the source. It is more of a just like little sparklers, and that's only with really bright lights. So it may be in my natural eyes, maybe I would have seen that as well, or maybe with any monofocals, these would have been the normal conditions. Not sure, but again, moving way, way, way better than what I was having with my LALs, the light adjustable lenses. Here's the interesting thing. I'm wearing my glasses. Okay, and now these glasses, plano in the right still, a negative 0.75 in my left. As you might remember, I was wearing these glasses, wearing these glasses, which are plano in the right, and a negative 0.5 in the left for driving and kind of walking around distance only. This eye, I think, is still a bit weaker than what the original LAL was. And believe it or not, my mid-range with my glasses on and my distance with my glasses on, and etc., except for close-up, and even my phone to some extent, when I'm looking at my phone and emails and stuff, I can read, no problem. Watch, it's a little blurry, but readable. Of course, I can't see up close, and if I do want to read my phone for a long time, I do take these glasses off, or I see my watch more clearly, or doing something up really close near. But I'm finding I'm wearing my glasses a lot more than with the old glasses when I had LALs in, because again, I think this eye needs to be a bit stronger. Just to test it out, I still have some negative 0.5 contact lenses left over. So I put it in my left eye, walked around, tried to do the computer. It was too strong. So the lesson is that if I were to adjust this eye to of a negative 0.5 strength, it would be too much. I wouldn't be able to read my phone, read the computer. Walking around was okay, but it just seemed a little bit out of whack. So I don't want to go to a negative 0.5. I think that would be too much. On the other hand, a negative 0.25 using my good old flipper, and I'm looking at the computer and looking up at my calendar on the wall and looking at my phone, seems to be just right. Now, I tell you, if you're doing some minor adjustments with your eyes, buy one of these on Amazon. Best investment, you can find it on Amazon. I think they're just called like eye flippers, or search around, you'll be able to find it. And anyway, I do say, hey, look, I'm back. Negative 0.25 just works for me. And I'm really, really thinking, do I want to wear my glasses all the time? Why do I want to put another surgery on my eye, LASIK, to adjust my left eye when I'm doing fine with my glasses? Well, I've been wearing contacts almost all my whole life. I can wear glasses, I'm not that vain, but I just like the freedom of talking to people, seeing them. Oh, let me just also back up. When I am talking to people and are a little bit away, I do have a little bit of a kind of blurry, double vision-y kind of, it's not quite as good. Of course, in distance, it's going to be a problem, and I'll wear glasses then. But in my normal interaction with people and looking at them with my glasses off, it's just not as comfortable with my glasses on. And therefore, I'm thinking I'm leaning towards getting LASIK in my left eye, and hopefully it doesn't screw things up. Or do I just leave it alone and be thankful for what I got now? It's a bit of a quandary. I'm thinking about it. Right eye, I don't think I'm going to touch it. No LASIK, even though there might be some astigmatism. I got that starburst, the two streaks that are coming off because of the astigmatism. I think that will eventually either go away over time, because your eyes naturally it'll kind of scar a little bit, or what have you. Things will start to maybe accumulate around the lens a little bit. That'll bring that down. So that's not a big deal for me. And being outside at night, driving and stuff is less and less these days. So I'm going to leave my right eye alone for now. maybe I revisit it in a year or two if I really have a problem, and I just say, let's just get it fixed. But my left eye, I'm really leaning towards that LASIK. I don't know. And I got about 2 weeks to decide because I'm going to see the doctor in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know what I decide. As you can see, I'm really happy with the results. I don't know what happened with those LALs. Been on Facebook groups. I've seen other people, some people having similar issues. Majority of people having none. But I guess that's what's happened when you kind of still dealing with new technology and with your body. Anything could happen. My thinking is if you're going to get LALs, know that there are risks associated with any surgery, but there are risks associated. But you do have a backup. But I've gone through a lot of operations and worry and concern to do this lens replacement, and I'm hoping this is giving you, if you had the same situation, some hope. I think overall, my key learning for the last several weeks has been patience. In this round, as I said before, patience. Just let things heal because it's going to take you a lot more time to heal than it did the last surgery. I know I'm repeating myself, but I think it's worth repeating. So that's it for now. I'll come back to you as soon as I have my next update. Take care. Bye. Hi, it's June 6, 2025, with what will be my last update on my lens exchange and hopefully the last part of my full journey, which started when I had floaters, did lasers to get rid of them. They came back, and I did a vitrectomy, which caused a cataract, which caused me to get light adjustable lenses, which I thought, well, it didn't cause me, I chose that. And eventually doing a lens exchange. It's been about, I don't know, a good 3-year journey through all of this. I'll have to check back, but I'll leave a little link down below, or it'll pop up if you're interested in starting from the beginning. It's been a very, very long journey. So a few days ago, I had a checkup with my doctor, and he took a look in. Everything looks fine as far as the lenses are concerned. The vision on my left eye is negative 1.25 and basically plano or close to plano on my right. Now, when I had my light adjustable lenses, I believe my left eye got locked in at negative 1.0. And that gave me a really good balance on reading intermediate. Kind of here I can see the calendar on my wall and see my phone with my left eye, and also decent and good, well, distance vision where I can walk around the office, walk around the home, and be pretty okay. I just needed glasses when I was driving, or especially, or maybe outside. Maybe let's say I'm at a baseball game or something and needed to see long distance. So we discussed doing a LASIK on my left eye to get me back to where I was. It'd be a quarter diopter, I guess they call it, of change in my left eye with LASIK. And he said with that small adjustment, he's worried that he may overshoot it because LASIK is not so precise that if you do it, I could then end up needing glasses for distance and also glasses for near. So he suggested not doing LASIK, and I agreed because my eyes have been through a lot of just different treatments and adjustments and lasers and exchanges and everything, and I'm worried also about the integrity of my eye. I've done a lot of treatments on them now, and since I'm doing pretty good with what I have now, I decided, I agreed, no need to do LASIK. And this is with the knowledge that my right eye still has the 2 streaks of light, and also the left has a bit of haze. I asked him about the right eye. He said, your stigmatism is pretty low, and you do have it, but I wouldn't suggest LASIK on that either because we don't do it for the amount of astigmatism you have. So I've noticed that those streaks of light have been getting less and less noticeable. Either I'm getting used to them. Oh, and by the way, that's only when I'm outside at night, or if my room's dark, I'm looking at LED light and I can see these two streaks of light coming out. When I'm walking around outside and I see light, I do see them and they tend to go away if I look at the light enough. So I think that those streaks of lights will start to fade less noticeable as time goes on. The blurriness or the haziness from the left eye, that's usually only outside again, and a little bit inside. Depends on how dry my eyes are too. So I need to keep them moist and use the drops I have. But I just say this: overall, it's 100 times better than what I had with the light adjustable lens and what I was locked into. I'm very happy indoors. I don't know. I look at the can lights again. I don't see it. Watching TV, the Apple logo, that white background, very bright white background, well, not background, white logo or white lettering with a black background or a dark background. I definitely see a little bit of haze around it, but it's very brief and it seems to go away. Maybe my eyes adjust a bit to that. And when I have subtitles on, I noticed that they were white. I changed them to yellow. That tones it down a bit. Very minor stuff. Again, indoors, absolutely great. Outdoors, I think with what I'm got now compared to before, 100 times better. It's now I'm being picky, really. The only other point I would bring up is that when I'm driving at night in the distance, when I see and especially if it's a dimly lit road and I see a stoplight in front or car lights, I do get quite a blurry vision, and that's because the glasses that I have on negative 0.75 and a plano on the right aren't quite strong enough. So the doctor suggested that I get progressive lenses, eyeglasses, and make sure. And I did. I went to my optometrist, and almost like the next day, and she took all the vision and checked, and sure enough, this needs to be a negative 1.0. And the progressives and the plano, actually, this is not quite plano. This is a little stronger. I think she added 0.25. Sorry for all the numbers, but made a little more distance. And also progressives so that when I'm looking at the dashboard, it's not blurry. With these single vision or whatever you call them, I can see the dashboard and everything fine. But at night, I need that far distance better because again it gets a little blurry. Also, I notice sometimes when I'm driving a long time, it'll get blurry in the distance. So I've ordered progressive lenses that should be coming in a week or two, and hopefully that'll help with my driving at night and driving long distances. So that ended up meaning that I need to basically have 3 pairs of glasses. One is my daily use where I'm kind of, short distance driving, walking around the office, walking around at home if I need to, watching TV, kind of intermediate distance, and a little bit of near. I can wear, I notice that at work I can wear these and on a computer and be pretty okay, but I can also take them off and actually it's a little bit better without the glasses. So that's number one, and that'll be, I'll be keeping these around with me almost all the time. The distance for driving in at night, especially, or long drives, I'll have those progressive glasses. I'll keep those in the car and just use them when I need them. And the last one will be my readers here, which will allow me to see really up close. And usually the only time I need to do it is when I'm clipping my nails or I'm up close to something I need to do some small work with a screw or put something in the back of the TV set and I'm looking up really close. These will help with my distance or my very near vision. A little disappointed because I can sit and socialize at dinner with my family and friends without my glasses on, but it does still seem a little fuzzy. It's not as good as I had with my LALs, the prescription that is, but I'm being picky. And, I can wake up in the morning, not have to wear glasses in the morning. I could see, like not like I used to have to put contacts in or glasses on right away, go to the shower, shave, everything without my glasses. So I can function pretty well without my glasses if I need to. Very happy I did the lens exchange. Things are in pretty good shape for me now. Being picky on some stuff with a little bit of blurriness there and the driving and stuff, but very, very happy with the end results. And the doctor even said that I was kind of a case study for him, and he's seeing more and more, and maybe are hearing more and more, people having trouble with these light adjustable lenses. Now, most people, probably the vast majority, have no problems with the LALs, but I am seeing a significant minority of people, especially online, saying they're having troubles with them. So if I go all the way back when I first started this journey and say, was it worth doing the vitrectomy to get rid of the floaters? Would I have done it all again, knowing what I have to go through now and lens exchange everything? I would say absolutely yes, because at work I got fluorescent lights during the day, everything. Those floaters would have driving me crazy. I don't think I could have ever gotten used to floaters. So number one, definitely would have done it again. So that's it. This is the last segment of this, probably what will end up being quite a long video. I hope you found it helpful. My biggest learning about this, especially with the lens exchange, is be patient. It's not going to be as quick as your original cataract surgery. Give it time. There's a lot of complications going on with the lens exchange, and take your time, because and check what the doctor's saying, but find a good one. Dr. Petlin was an absolute blessing and great find for me. And I think I told you previously in the video that so many of the nurses and the support staff said, you're really lucky to have me. He's one of the best. So again, I hope this video was helpful. That's it. Best luck on your journey, whatever you choose to do. And if I could be of any help, leave your questions in the comments below. And I hope I'm not making any more videos about my eyes. Best of luck to you.